Many people say that our world is becoming more polarized day by day. And if that's true, then there's a good chance that you and I may find ourselves on the opposite side of an important issue with someone that we're close to. So, what are some suggestions on how we can cope with strong disagreements among friends? Well, the first point is we need to make up our mind which is more important. Is it the friendship or is it the issue? Now, if it is the issue, then be prepared that your friendship may have a cool off. But on the other hand, if the relationship is more important than the issue, and that's true for most of the human race, we tend to value the precious friendships we have. In that case, then the next three suggestions may be very, very valuable. And here's the first one. Rather than argue, express your appreciation for the other person. That might sound like a cop-out. It's like, hey, we need to talk about this. This is important. And here you are expressing how much you care about me. But remember this, people do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. And as much as we want to consider ourselves to be rational beings, really a lot of our positions are very emotional. So getting on solid emotional footing before bringing any kind of logic into the mix is probably a good idea. And when it comes to being emotional about our beliefs, we always think that that's the other guy's problem. You know, they're quite emotional about this. But the reality is that most of us acquire our core beliefs in the same way that we acquire our language. We just pick it up from those around us. And so the idea that we've thought deeply about everything we believe is not really likely. And they say sometimes people actually pay more attention to what kind of car they drive than to what their core beliefs will be. So just knowing that we're emotional, they're emotional, that first step is to restore the emotional component before we get involved with any kind of arguing. And we may decide that if we really care about the relationship, that the point of disagreement can just wait. Now, the next thing we want to do is find something about the other person's point of view that is commendable. You see, it's so easy to just say, what? How could you possibly feel that way? Or don't you know? See, we lash right into the person right from the get-go. But how much better to say, you know, your motive is so pure here. Or perhaps something else about their point of view that is just commendable. It's beautiful. It's part of the reason why I care about you so much, is because you feel strongly about this. So now we've laid the groundwork. We've let the person know that we care, and then we've actually commended them, even though the conclusion they come to might be very different from the one that we come to. And then finally, consider this. Sometimes taking the long approach is much better than arguing, even if it's about something that's very near and dear to our heart. They say that truth is like a timed release medicine. And we kind of know how that works, right? You take a pill and it slowly breaks down in your system and administers the medicine over time. Well, what's really true tends to come out over time. And so this patient approach you and I could take, playing the long game, not hurrying to convince the other person, it can pay off in at least a couple of ways. The first way, if we're patient, we may find that truth changes us. And wouldn't that save some embarrassment if we just go ahead and wait and then we find out later, you know, the one who needed to change was me. See, we could avoid that embarrassment if we're just willing to wait. But the other point is also valid. You see, if truth is going to come out over time, then waiting on the other person to come to the conclusion is one of the kindest things that we can do. It's making an investment in our relationship. So remember this, there is a great likelihood that you and I will have a disagreement in the very near future, possibly with someone that we care about very much. And what do? Well, first of all, decide if the relationship is worth more than the issue and behave accordingly, or the issue is worth more than the relationship. And there are people like that, and we know who they are. But likely, you and I are in the camp that is going to want to preserve the relationship. And so what do we do then? Well, the thing to do is to reassure them of how much you care about them. Let them know how much you care before you let them know how much you know. And then find something commendable about their position. And that may be as far as we want to go. Just commend them on their motive and drop it. And why might we be okay letting something wait? Well, remember, truth is a timed release capsule. And over time, what's really true is probably going to come out. And then how grateful we will be if we have not embarrassed ourselves by pushing a wrong point of view. And if we are right, what a beautiful way to show the depth of our devotion by being willing to wait on the other person. So hopefully these things are going to help us to have better, healthier relationships, even in a polarized world.